Here's why your business is not getting a lot of reviews and what you can do to fix that. My name is Dmitry, and I pretty much recommend contractors for a living. That's my full-time job. Every single day, homeowners coming to me, I give them a recommendation, and I deal with a lot of complaints. I also deal with a lot of compliments. So the reason people don't give good reviews often, despite the fact that in your mind you did everything you promised, you provided a scope of work, you did the whole thing. I want you to think of reviews how homeowners or your customers think of reviews. Reviews are compliments. They are not must-have. They don't have to do it. They're willing to do it to give you something extra. It's like tip. And you have to earn them. You truly have to earn them. It's like a grade. If you want an A grade at school, you have to put extra effort. You cannot do mediocre work. Most contractors are mediocre. That's why most roofers don't have a lot of reviews. Excellent one do get a lot. Why? Because if you sold the job and gave it to the subcontractor, and subcontractor went and did all the work, and now you coming to collect the payment and asking for a review, you're not gonna get it. Most time than not, you're not gonna get it. Why? Let me illustrate it with this case study, if you will. Just yesterday, I received a complaint from the homeowner. So I recommended contractor. Contractor went and did the job, and homeowner came to us, say, Dmitry, I used contractor you recommend. I'm disappointed. He just sent the sub. It did not go well. What happened? People look at you and they rate your effort. So if you're a paper pusher, we call them paper contractors. We have a lot of them in the industry. So you're gonna overpromise and under-deliver. You're gonna be excellent at the kitchen table, everything to get the check, and then communication stops. And then you send a sub. And it's okay to send a sub. A lot of businesses using subcontractors. Amazon uses drivers that are not their employees. Insurance companies use adjusters who don't work for them. There are a lot of vendors in the industry, but good business versus bad business usually have one thing in common. Good business, I would say not good, excellent business, excellent service, who will get a lot of reviews, positive reviews later, will be one team with their subcontractors. Now, bad business, we call them middleman. So middleman is the one who just pushes paper. He goes, sell the job to customer, and then pushes the paper to someone to do the work. Minimalistic approach. There are plenty of businesses out there. A lot of roofers are like that. They call themselves marketing and sales organizations. They're not real contractors. They don't do the work. A lot of times they don't know how to do the work. They're just paper pushers. The problem with the paper pushers are they're not connected to all parties. Communication is not there, accountability is not there. They have no idea what's going on job sites. If the contractor did not clean the job, if there's no quality control, they don't know nothing. Like let's say it's a roofer. If they send a sub and they have no clue of the job, they pretty much transfer liability from them to the poor sub, right? Homeowners are not stupid. Your customers are not stupid. They read right through it. They're like, this guy, he's getting paid probably the most, and he's probably doing least amount of work. That's what they see. And a lot of times that's the case. Now, there's also other type of contractors and business owners, and this type, they work with the subs as a team. They train them. They communicate well. They hire production managers. They also have job superintendents. They visit jobs often. They make sure they're one. When their subs show up at the jobs, they're trained to represent the company. Most times you will not even feel or know that this is a subcontractor or a vendor and not direct employee. When we receive Amazon packages, we don't know they don't work for Amazon. We see the smile, we see the truck wrap and stuff. We think it's Amazon. A lot of times it's not, because they have their procedures and they have their process in place, and they go for that standard. So those companies will get 5-star reviews. So you have to look within you in your business, how much control do you have? Because people not only don't reward hard work, but they also punish bad behavior. I've seen so many contractors who are on the phones watching freaking porn and playing games where crews are working. Well, homeowners see that too. They see who's doing the work. They see who works the hardest. And I've seen where people wanted to tip the crew, not the owners. So you have to ask yourself, are you the real business owner? Do you control your process? Are you one with your subs, or your paper pusher and just a middleman that everybody hates and nobody wants? Because in the beginning, when you sell the job, you are promising and you probably know what to say and how to sell the job. But later, people figure out who you really are, what kind of business model you really run, and they hate it. People hate middlemen. Generally, people hate lazy people who gets paid a lot of money. And by lazy, I'm not saying that, just because you're in sales you're lazy, or just because you run a business you're lazy. No, that's not definition of lazy. Lazy is the person who does not control anything. Yes, you have your role, but your role is also to make sure everything goes according to the plan. If you promise something to the homeowner, it's your job. And if you're sending a sub that, subcontractor, it's your job to make sure that that sub will do absolutely everything that you have promised. That sub will clean the job, will install everything properly. Don't just push liability on someone else. This is your job. You sold it. Now you're pushing it away, and liability oftentimes will be on a sub, and rightfully so. But it's your job. Where is your control? Where is your work and your part in the whole, game of selling a job and producing the job and who's doing what, right? And again, there's no right or wrong. We all do it. I've subcontracted plenty of jobs, but my job, is to find the best sub, to work with the best sub, to train them, to work details on every project. What do we do for the quality control? How do we avoid mistakes? What can I do to help that sub? How do I make sure that every job going to be spotless? All of those are serious, hard working moments in business, and you have to put in the effort. And if you don't own the building, if you don't own the shop, if you're literally sitting in the basement just selling, you're going to be hated. You're not going to be rewarded with reviews. So that's the difference between highly reviewed companies and companies who get very little reviews or get a lot of complaints. Now, I've seen roofers with 1,000+ reviews and using subs, but they are one with their subs. They are teams. If you hire that company, you will not even feel the difference. You will not even think that that crew does not work for this company full time. How connected they are, the way they introduce themselves, the way they talk about the company they work for, the way they do the work, the whole thing. Now it's a symphony of process. Everything the salesperson have promised, now the crew is doing, because they are one. So be one with your team. Work super hard, and you're gonna get those reviews every single time you ask for them.